Hello and welcome back to a new YouTube tutorial. For this video, I'm going to be painting a very warm sunset over an, for me, English inspired garden or something along those lines, where we have these very lush bushes sort of springing out from the front of our painting. And for it, I'm going to be using this sketchbook that I was gifted by Artec, and it just had the perfect size for me not wanting to paint a piece that was too big, but just sort of wanted to have a piece that I could get started with pretty quickly. So first off, you saw me just make this tiny little sketch. It's mainly just to make sure that I know where my focal points are going to be and dividing the page properly into threes so that I have a point to start off from. We're going to start by painting the background, and to be completely honest, for this video I've been really bad at getting my color mixing into the frame, so I will try to explain it as best as possible. It will be on the screen as well, but you won't be able to see me actually do any of the mixing. So for the background, at first I started off by mixing white with my olive green. That is a newer color in my mix that I have been testing out a lot and seeing how it can mix with other colors. So that will be my primary green for this video. And then I also mixed in just a tiny bit of yellow ochre to warm it up again a bit after having sort of cooled it down with the white. And I'm just painting the opening sky that I know will be visible in here. And you see me come back with basically just a bit of white paint on top because I had ended up making it darker than I actually wanted it to be. So I just went in with a bit of white on top of it directly on the page. Of course, before the paint had dried out, I went back and forth a little bit, and I'm just avoiding the corners because I know I will be painting some foliage there, so I don't really need to completely cover it with this background color. And maybe I had also just mixed a little too little paint, which we all end up doing at times, so I was trying to save it a bit. For the background, we're just going to be making these sort of hazy bushes that you don't really see too well, but you can sort of just skim them in the distance. For that, I just mixed in a little bit more green and a little bit more yellow into my mix, just a tiny bit, so that it ended up being darkened a little bit. And then I came back in with my filbert brush and I just dabbed in sort of bush shapes in the background. No real detailing here, just a bit up and down across the page. I do this once more for a second layer of bushes. Again, I just put in a little bit more green, a little bit more yellow ochre, and then I paint over again. Here I have switched to a smaller round brush so that I'd be able to make a little bit more detail than I initially did for the first bush layer. We are now going to be skipping sort of forwards a bit in the painting and try to paint the row of bushes that will be a bit more visible to us as we look into the distance. And for it, again, I mixed my olive green, but this time I mixed it with yellow ochre and a bit of burnt umber to darken it a little bit. There's also just a tiny bit of white in there, but it's very little. And I was having a bit of a hard time with getting colors right for the front part of the painting, but you will see that as we go along. Here I have switched back to my filbert brush. It's quite a small filbert brush and I really enjoy it for making these very loose sort of foliage shapes initially, and then I can always come back in and add details later. And I just painted, I guess, a row of bushes. They're very flat, as you can see, and then I came back in with the color from before and just mixed in a tiny bit of this newer color and a little bit of yellow and added a layer of bushes in between my front two layers just to create a tiny bit more depth. But you can see that I sort of change my mind along the way as I paint, and you can always go back and forth and paint some of those older areas. That's also really why it's always good to have enough paint, because if you are wanting to change up something, it's really good to have that color that you had initially painted with so that you can very easily adjust it to your liking. And then you can see that with the same color, I am just adding some more detailing to these bushes that I had just painted with my filbert brush. For the grass, I added a bit more olive green. I also added a tiny bit of black here just to darken it up a bit. And then I just used my filbert brush to go side to side across the part of the painting where I want this grass field, and My paint is quite thin here compared to what you'd usually use for gouache, but since I'm just doing it on top of the white paper, the color is still sort of shining through, but it doesn't have quite the same luxurious matte finish as you would get from a thicker layer of gouache. After having done the first one, I come in with a little bit more black in my mix, and then I go out from the sides and a bit towards the center, but still trying to keep away any sort of asymmetry along the way. And then you see me just go a little back and forth with the colors. I just use my filbert brush to go side to side across the page and sort of mix it out a little bit so it's blended more and not too close in color. You also see me here come in with a very tiny detailing brush. I believe I just have completely straight up yellow ochre on this. It might have a tiny bit of green in it as well. I was trying to get in some of the sun rays a bit too early, so you can definitely leave this step for later. And I also come back and change it a bit. And I use the same color to also just put a bit on it on the bushes, sort of simulating where the sun would be shining through. And for this painting, we have these bricks in the front that are sort of a stepping stone to go down into the backyard or garden or whatever this is. And to start that, I just mixed some red with burnt umber, and then I included some green to desaturate it a bit to fit better into the rest of the painting. And I just started by blocking out the shapes of the bricks that I wanted. And then I came in with my detailing brush with a darker version that just had a bit of black and a bit more burnt umber mixed into it to just paint a line along all of the brick sides where it would have curved and therefore be in shadows. And with some of the darker paint as well, not quite as dark as the shadow ones, but one that was sort of in the middle, I also just painted in a couple of dots that are to simulate a bit more texture in the bricks and making sure that we don't just have this one flat color, but a bit more variation in it. I then went in with grass for the foreground of the painting, and this is olive green mixed with black. I did this the same way as the grass in the middle ground, where I just start with the lighter color in the middle, and then from the outside I push in this darker shadow color. And if you haven't already seen my video of how I usually paint grass, you can watch that to get a better idea of what it is that I am doing for this grass field, because I'm not going to go too much into details on it here. You don't need to do any more than I just did there. I'm just putting color down and making sure that there's a bit of variation and shadow in the sides. I then come back in with the grass color with a small round brush, and I sort of pull it into the bricks. Any of the areas where I didn't completely fill out the page with the red color, this wasn't necessarily on purpose. I just left it there because then I use it as a very good and random guide for where I should put this overgrowth of the grass. I'm just making small dots and collecting them in the shape of these white areas that I had left over on the bricks. I also did a little bit of detailing of darker grass, just bringing out from the dark areas in my grass. Again, this is completely covered in my grass painting video. And then I start again to come in with a bit of this warm sunlight that we want to see throughout the painting. I have just mixed in a bit of yellow and yellow ochre into the previous colors that I have used for elements, and then I go over them and paint in some lines of this warmer version of the color in the areas that would be hit by where I have chosen to have the sun coming from. And this goes both for the bricks, the grass, and the mossy overgrowth. So now we're finally at the part that I have been looking forward to when painting this painting, and we're going to start on the bushes. For the bushes at the bottom of the painting, I started with the lighter grass color and just sort of mapped out the top of the bushes, and then I came in with a darker color where I had added a bit more blue and a bit of black to them. You can see that initially I just put the colors down side by side, and then I come back in to paint more detailed leaves on top of these lighter areas of the bushes. And I also do it with the darker parts to sort of separate out this very harsh line that I had been making between the colors. This is just one way to do it. I also do it myself other ways at times, but this was just sort of what I felt like doing for this one. I also bring the lighter color a bit into the darker areas of the bush as the last step, just to create a little bit more variety. And I do the same thing again for the bushes in the front. I have just waited for the background bushes to dry first. For the colors of the second row of bushes, or the one closest to us, I have just a tiny bit more blue in my different mixings so that I could create a slight variation in color. Now I come back in with some shadow for this foliage that I have created, and for it I really like to just choose one of the darker colors from my palette, and then I mix it very thin with water. Make sure to dry off your brush after having mixed the color, and then I can go back and pick up some of this very thin dark water with my brush and just come and paint under the foliage areas. Then you see me come back in with almost just a complete yellow. There's a tiny bit of yellow ochre in it just to warm it up a little bit, and I paint the last highlights on bricks. For the bushes in the top, I have a general idea of the shape I want them to be in. I start by putting in my dark value for the bushes, and then you see me come back with just water on my brush to make sure that the underneath paint is not completely dry when I come back in with a lighter paint, because I want them to sort of try to merge on their own a little bit before I start blending them out. But other than that, I am doing it the same way as I did at the bottom. I'm just putting in at first the two main colors, not really caring too much of making it very detailed or making it blend too much. I will come back and do that later. Then coming back with my leaf brush, I'm just again pushing some of the darkness up into the lighter color and the light color down into the darkness. And then afterwards, I'm also going to fix all of the edges so that we have leaves along the outlines of the bushes rather than these very harsh filbert brush lines. And I also start to try to make some of these bushes a bit more droopy, or have a couple of branches that might have been hanging out from some of the main part of the bush. Once I have done everything with the first two colors, I mix in a tiny bit of yellow ochre into my lighter color, and then I place some more leaves where I think the sun will be hitting the most, which is of course mainly centered towards the middle of the painting where the opening will be. And I do this step once more by mixing even more yellow ochre and yellow into the paint so that I can slowly get a gradient of these bushes becoming more and more sun-bathed. And you see me start to keep more and more towards that sort of one branch and one side of the painting. I also put in a little bit of it in the bushes down on the left side of the painting as well. And this will really create that golden opening that we really love to see, and gives at least me some very fairy tale or English garden connotations of the golden hour and just sun-based scenery that I always really love to look at. Then for the darker parts of the bushes that are turned away from the sun, a good trick here to get a good highlight color for the shadow parts is to take your dark color and then mix in a bit of white, because white will usually keep it cool rather than yellow that will make it warmer. And there are still of course highlights in the shadow area, they just aren't these warm sun highlights. So for it I mixed in white with my dark color, and you can see that I get this sort of almost light blue color, and I painted that in for the shadow areas to highlight some of the leaves. And then on the ground, I did the same thing as I mentioned earlier with using very thinned out paint of a darker color to include even more shadow down by the bushes, because we really needed a contrast to this very warm light that we're getting. So I'm just including shadows in the bushes, on the bricks, and a bit in the grass as well. Also here I went in with a color that is just completely yellow ochre and yellow for the most highlighted leaves, and put them at sort of the extremities of the different areas we have. We have to try not to overdo this step, even though it's very fun to try to overdo it a bit. But these are the most highlighted leaves, so we shouldn't go too crazy with them. I also, as I mentioned earlier, didn't really enjoy the look of the grass that I had in the middle ground, so I came back in with my round brush and then I just sort of smoothed it out a bit so that it was more of a larger surface rather than specific grass straws. And now we are finally at the fun part, which is of course painting the flowers. And for it, first I mixed a light purple color more towards a cooler purple than a warm. And I just went in with some different blobs that were supposed to be my flowers. And I also included a couple of fallen leaves at the ground. After that, I went in with a slightly darker color. I had put in a little bit of blue and then a little bit of black just to darken it a tiny bit. And I came back in with my round brush and sort of stippled along the bottom of the flowers and sort of the bottom and away from the middle of the painting. In a couple of places, I came in with a color that was just a tiny bit more red to have a bit of variation in the color of the flowers before mixing a very warm pink color. And for these flowers, I keep them towards the middle of the painting, so these will be the flowers that are getting hit by the sun. And I mixed it a little bit warmer by adding a bit more red and a bit more yellow, and then I went back in with a couple more dots again towards the center of the painting on top of all of the flowers. I also added some of this color on some of the purple flowers, but I really didn't like it, so I'd probably encourage you not to do that, but of course you can decide that on your own. And in the same sort of idea, I went in with some of the purple on the shadow side of the pink flowers, which worked a lot better, so you can decide on that. Then I came back in with a purple where I have mixed in even more white for the highlights of the flowers, and I am keeping this towards the top of the flowers and the center of the painting, and I try to make it more so like dots rather than connected blobs. Of course, some of them can be connected, but if you just paint one circle as a highlight, you aren't really going to get this fluffiness of the flowers. And I do it again for the pink flowers. Here, this is basically the same color as I used before, but again, mixed with just a tiny bit more yellow and a bit of white. And I actually used the exact same color on the bushes in the down part of the painting, just to have it look like, again, the really warm sun-bathed areas. And lastly, we are going to add a couple of falling petals because that is just the cutest thing we can see, and I chose to do it with just one of the pink colors that I had from the flowers. I think just the main color. And then I always just sort of like to dot in a bit of white dots around the place when I have flowers. I sort of feel like it adds this slightly magical element or maybe enchanted element to my paintings, so that is something you can add. You can also just disregard it if you don't like it, but that is actually the final thing that I add to this painting. And I hope that you have been able to learn something from it. It's hard to create short videos but still keep all of the explanation intact. So of course hit the like button or subscribe if you want me to know to make more of these for you, and I will definitely try to do my best to create at a higher frequency than what I've been doing so far. And I really hope you enjoyed this painting. I have the real-time version of it available for my lowest tier Patreon members. It converts to like $3 or $4 a month, I think. And of course, everything will be linked down below if you want to get any of these materials or visit my Patreon page. And thank you so much for watching. I again really hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.